Open up your brown book, baby. It's for you, it's for us. The fantasies, no one can judge us, no one can judge us. This is for us. Open up your brown book, baby. It's for you, it's for us. Open up your brown book, baby. Open up your brown book. Open up your brown book, baby. Look. Open up your brown book, baby. It's for you, it's for us. The fantasy, no one can judge.
Lana, you gotta groove to the beat. You gotta groove to the beat.
You do have to, because listening to.
It's for you.
You know what I'm saying? We love it.
Are we gonna keep it going?
Next time. And we absolutely can. Hey y'all, hey, it's your girl Shay Baby, and welcome back to another episode here at the Brown Book Series. Y'all know what's up. It's 7 o'clock. It's Wednesday night, and call your friends, let them know that the Brown Book Series is on, and we have a special guest on tonight. This is our first time here for the Brown Book Series, so please, everybody, welcome to the family. New York Times USA Today's bestseller author, Miss Lana Harper. Oh, you are so beautiful. Did anybody ever tell you that?
I feel like we started talking about that, but maybe we haven't finished it. You too are so beautiful. So I feel like, thank you. I'm trying to bring it. I feel like I'm probably not anywhere near, but I'm at least giving it my best shot today.
You are giving it everything. I'm talking about, I'm loving all of it. I'm loving the hair. I'm just loving it.
Thank you. Well, very same to you, but by a lot more, because you heard from earlier that I've been in Chicago rain 3 times today. So even though I wanted to give you my best hair, this is the best that I could pull together.
Well, listen, honey, that's your best, baby. You good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go play over here in this chat. Let's see. Oh my God, I can't see the comments. Hold on. I see that there, but I don't know. Hey y'all, I'm sorry. I can't see my comments. I don't know why. I see y'all commenting.
I can't see them.
Put it up. Something is happening. So, but keep commenting, children. Keep commenting.
We'll get to them. It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. I know. It's like, what's going on? Oh, there they go. My bad. Use the error.
That kind of day.
You know, it's all good. Hey, Kill, what's up? Y'all checking in? Hey, y'all. Hey, girl. She said hello and good evening. Mama Tony in the building. Hey, Mama Tony. Hi, y'all. Y'all come on in and say hello to Miss Lana Harper, honey. Y'all can say hello. What's up?
Rom-com Diva, thank you.
Rom-com Diva, they checking on in. What up, cousin? Renata. Hey, girl. Hey, how y'all doing? Media Truth in the building. What's up? What's up? What's up? Hey. Missy, what it do, boo? Hey, y'all. Hey. Oh, they said, nice to meet you, Miss.
Oh, yeah. Hi.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's why I have to tell her welcome. This is our first time here on the show. They're welcoming you in. This is the Brown Book Series crew. We're gonna be good tonight, Lana. We're gonna act right. We're not gonna do it. We're gonna be on our best behavior.
Do we have? We have to be.
Yeah. No, okay. We don't have to be. Okay. Normally I don't be.
I mean, don't feel obligated or anything.
Well,
whatever the mood. I am here for it. This is the highlight of my day. So whatever works.
She is here for it, y'all. Now, listen.
I am here for it.
She's here for it, and I think I need to give her what she's here for. I'm just saying, if y'all don't mind, you know what I'm saying. I absolutely love it. Now, Lana, tell us a little bit about you outside of the literary world. We're going to get into that in a little bit. So what is it like in the day in the life of New York Times bestselling author, Miss Lana Harper?
Well, I get up and then my son screams at me because I'm taking him to daycare. It's super glamorous. He breaks my heart every day. It doesn't matter how often it happens. He doesn't care about the New York Times bestseller status every single day. He's like, are you not going to stay home? And what is wrong with you that this isn't happening? So there was a time before I just started working full-time recently. Previously I was writing full-time, and that was a very different schedule. Now I'm working as a communications coordinator at a direct sales company, and I'm also writing at the same time. So I just try to split up my day. Most of it is spent doing my day job, which is also a lot of writing, and that's exciting in a completely different way. There's no witches, there's very little magic, there's very little steamy scenes happening in my day job. And what else am I doing in my days? Yeah, I try to do sort of what I used to call the witchy shit that I've abandoned almost completely, mostly because it's hard to keep track of everything. But I used to like to do tarot draws every morning or evening, just things like that, do a little bit of incense, light candles, just, stuff to make me feel like, oh, you actually like, maybe you remember what this used to be like. So I think I had a very different New York Times bestselling life about a year ago than I do now, but it is still very exciting. It's just exciting in a different and slightly more corporate way these days.
I'm absolutely loving that.
Yeah, thanks.
So let's talk about your writing style here. Let's get into your whole writing thing. So YA is your thing, right?
So it used to be my thing.
Tell us.
Yeah, it used to be my thing. Before I even started writing, I was a literary agent, and I specialized. Yes, that's how I got into it. I was mostly representing YA authors, and then just kind of dabbling a little bit in adult, any kind of adult fantasy, romance, that kind of thing. Then I started writing maybe about a couple of years into my literary agent career. And then once I started doing both, I realized I couldn't really balance. It's a lot of when you're representing, you're reading so many manuscripts, you're talking to editors, you're talking to your authors. It's hard to find the time to be writing your own material. And so I was like, let's do like a leap of faith thing and see if you can do this for yourself. So I had my first 4 books were young adults. I had 2 contemporary fantasies under Lana. So that was Wicked Like a Wildfire and Fierce Like a Firestorm. And then I had 2 young adult historical thrillers. So those were a little bloodier, like a little bit creepier. Those were Blood Countess and Poison Priestess. And then at that point, I was starting to think, how can I bridge the gap? I'm not related to Dr. Phil Popovich. I have heard that one before, and I'm not. There are a lot of Popoviches in Serbia and Croatia. So you're like pretty hard pressed to find 2 of us who are actually, he possibly my second or third or fourth or fifth cousin. It's not impossible, but no, I'm not related that I know of. And then once I started thinking of what was I going to do in the adult realm, I wrote a thriller that is yet to see the light of day.
I was about to say, did I miss that? What happened?
Yeah, no, it didn't happen because right before we were about to go in submission with it, it was just before COVID happened and derailed everything. My agent had been taking a bunch of meetings, and she was like, hey, you know how you always wanted to write a rom-com? What if you wrote one maybe about witches? Because I know like witches are your brand and everything you write is always about witches anyway. So that'll be perfect for you because you're not capable of writing about not witches. Which is true. Like it happens in every single book. Even if I'm trying not to, I will always be ultimately writing about witches. I love them. It's been one of my things since I was young. So I brainstormed a bunch with her and we came up with Payback's a Witch, which is adult rom-com. Technically, it's adult rom-com. I would say it's more of a fantasy romance. So there's a very strong fantasy angle. That I think the world building is a little bit heavier than what you get in a straightforward romance. So now I write exclusively adult. YA used to be my thing, and now adult is more my thing. That was a long
time. Girl, okay, so I live in Massachusetts, right?
That's where I used to live.
Yeah, oh, cool. Girl, and so this whole Salem thing, right? Did you ever go to Salem?
Yes, I lived 15 minutes away. I was living in Marblehead.
What? Girl. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So not Christmas. Halloween just passed.
Halloween, right? Yes. Very much.
And so there was, people was like, yo, let's go to Salem. I'm like, for what? Why? As my nephew would say, why for? It was like, because it's Halloween. They got the little. No, I'm not going. So my daughter went, her and my husband went, and she's just all into this too. So she's like, yo, they have like a whole tour, everything. Girl, will you go? Okay, how was when you first went there? Were you already into witches and all that good stuff?
I have been into witches since always. I can't remember not being into witches. And for me, Salem is
what is that though, Lana? What did you like Bewitched when you was little? Like
yes. I love Bewitched. I love The Craft. I loved Practical.
You kind of look like Tabitha though, a little bit. I'm just letting you know that.
There you go. I mean, it was just meant to be. It was just one of those things where I don't know. I think if you like witches, you probably always like them to some degree. And then when I was little, like I grew up in sort of like just after communist era Eastern Europe. So I was born in Serbia. We moved all over. And so my mom's mom had, she was religious, but she also had all this like folklore magic that we used to do. So she had all these like little tips and tricks. And I was like, this is so cool. Like, sure, I'll peel an apple and then put it under my pillow and then dream of the man I'm going to marry, like stuff like that, the fun stuff. And both, like all three of us, her, me, and my mom, have always had this idea of like, well, if you think about things and manifest the reality that you want, all those things are very closely tied, I think. Yeah. And so when I moved to Massachusetts, going to Salem was like the pinnacle. Like I went to Salem as much as I possibly could. I love it there. If you walk down kind of the main drag when it's anywhere near Halloween time, they keep all of their doors open. And so everything smells like incense. Like that whole main street has this like amber sort of sandalwood smell. So a lot of the town in which both of us were talking about, Thistle Grove, a lot of Thistle Grove is based on my favorite aspects of Salem and kind of the surrounding areas in Massachusetts that I spent a lot of time in. I lived there for 13 years.
Girl, listen, I can't hold on. We're gonna hold that note. Every time we have a legend to come in the room, we always stop the show. Everybody say hello to New York Times, USA Today's award-winning bestselling author, Miss Brenda Jackson, is in the building.
Hello. When I saw that, I was like, is that Brenda Jackson? It is.
Yeah, that's her.
That's awesome. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, she loves authors. She loves authors, new and upcoming authors that she never heard of. And when she, like, oh, that sounds intriguing. Let me step up in here. So trust me, later on, she's going to be like, Shay, I need a book. I'm like, she already ordered it. She be on her order book. I'm like, okay.
That's how I like. That's awesome. Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. So big ups to Auntie Brenda for checking in. Love the episode with Samantha visited Salem. Yes.
Yeah. That happened. And Salem is worth it. It's worth it. I know there's a crowd and it's terrible, especially now. I read that I think last Halloween 40,000 people were there.
It was
wild. Yeah.
Yeah,
Tourist crush you can't like take a step. Everything is constantly booked up. Trying to eat anywhere is like mission impossible. So yeah, it's gotten a lot harder than it used to be.
It is crazy. Yes, Miss Auntie Brenda's in the house, so I gotta behave. So we're gonna be
someone's watching you.
Yes, Mackenzie says I'm swooning over the Salem chat.
Oh, Mackenzie, hi. I know Mackenzie. Hey, thank you for coming. I see you on Instagram.
Mackenzie, listen, Mackenzie's with me too. So listen, when you come out to Massachusetts, I will go with you to Salem. The stories though that I heard, they told me because I didn't go because I was like, no, I'm sorry. Michael Myers and Salem, I don't do. Sorry.
Oh no. That's not the vibe. We don't want that.
Yeah, we don't want Michael Myers, no, not at all. But I can deal with it, because I like Bewitched. Charmed was my thing. Yes. That's my favorite. Mm-hmm. But something about I was like, I don't know. And they told me the stories, and they were just saying how they was basically medicine women, for real.
Yeah,
and people didn't understand it, and so that's what they call them witches. I'm like, that was what we would call medicine women.
It's terrible. A lot of that history is super gruesome, and I think it was part of a larger trend, and people will still argue it like, oh, well, there was like a public hysteria, and it's like, yeah, but like mostly women got killed. So whatever you want to call it, that's what happened. And there was, I think there's always been medicine women, and there's always been, and it's for the most part, I think it's female healers, and they're the ones who will, when things really start, whenever there's some kind of inflection point or stuff starts hitting the fan, like usually the people who get blamed for it are women with some kind of authority that wasn't granted by like any formal body. So I think that's a pattern that repeats itself often in Salem. At the very least acknowledges that happened. Yeah, they're like, it's campy, it can be cheesy, but some of my favorite things like haunted houses and sort of craft fairs and things that I've seen have all happened at Salem. So I think it's worth the visit. Maybe not exactly in October, like maybe in September when the season starts, but it's not completely wild yet. That might be the prime time to go.
Girl, I'm telling you. But
Yeah.
I think it would be hot though, walking down the street and everybody open up their doors and incense.
Wonderful.
I love smelling incense anyway.
So wonderful. Yeah.
Well, now, when you come back, I'm gonna go with you.
Please do. No, I will hold you to that.
I will definitely. I'm like, no, waiting on Lana. I'm not going to wait on Lana.
It'll happen. I missed it this year, but next year it's gonna happen.
Okay, girl, yeah, hit me up. I'm glad they go down here. But I'm telling you, Lana, I'm listening. Tell no witches to come get me, and unless they're good with. I don't know.
I want to protect you. I got you. It'll be fine.
Okay, cool. Because I'm gonna pay one lot. Well, okay. So when did you first have the infatuation with the witches? Like when was? Because I'm telling you the I read in Charm's Way, and I was like, honey, I think that I want to know two things. When did you first become infatuated with witches? And how did you research this? Because it ain't like you can talk to nobody, or can you?
You can. You definitely can. There's so many Wiccans, and there are so many like of different groups, and I can say that because I've been one in the past. And
you've been a real life witch, Mom.
Oh yes. Yes. I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on your show, but
yeah, you can say everything on my show. I would normally be by now, but Auntie Brenda's in here.
So we will soft pedal this. Yes, I have done some witch stuff, and most of it is really lovely. It's sort of it's like nature following, wheel of the year, sort of respecting. They do have, if you want to join, Wiccans have different kinds of sort of spiritual organizations. So there's Gardnerians, Alexandrians, all kinds, and they'll have covens. So you'll have proper covens where you get together and you craft stuff together. You make candles. It's really fun. Well, sometimes they don't only let ladies in there, so there will be now at least it's one of the more, I would say probably, knock on wood, I hope still, one of the more inclusive traditions. So it's not totally, you can pick an all-female coven if that's what you want, but it is a little bit like being in a sorority because you're like, oh yeah, we're just lighting some candles and then making some wishes come true, doing rituals that we all agreed on, eating some cake afterwards. Like, it is really lovely. I think it's like a really big community thing. And it's almost like what I would call it is almost like communal meditation, right? So you're like sitting there, someone has a goal, you're thinking about it all together. If it's a particular season, like there are the seasonal holidays that you're celebrating, or the full moon, or things like that. So it sounds, when you think about witches, there's this sort of scary element, but everything about that is usually pretty externally imposed. If you're doing it from the inside, it's just like, oh, you're having a lovely party with your best friends and you're having a really nice time.
Honey, listen, back in the South, honey, we just says we all get together and touch and agree on a type of situation.
Exactly.
And put it in the atmosphere and let him do what he do.
So, yeah, you were in a coven. You just didn't call it that.
Right, yeah, you just didn't call it. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it can be really nice. I haven't done anything like that just purely because of scheduling and things like, not that I wouldn't again in the future, but I think it's lovely. And I think it's one of those things where it's like, oh, you can have a spiritual element in your life that is a bonus. It doesn't restrict you. It doesn't repress you. It's just a different form of self-expression. But a lot of if you're asking about research in terms of herbs and crystals and stuff, those things, I don't think we can see them from here. I do have books about those things. And if I can't look something up, I'll usually try to make sure that it's at least close to what I'm going for in terms of like, this is what is generally accepted, that this plant has like a certain kind of sympathy with, okay, you're trying to conjure something, or you're trying to meditate better, or do something like that. So a lot of that research is based on the kinds of subjects that I used to find interesting. And so I have my own library on them, or I'll just Google it. So that's how I do the research.
I absolutely love it. So do you get offended though, like when you was doing your rituals, or you was in a Wiccan, when ignorant people who would be like, oh, you're a witch? Have you ever been called a witch?
Yes, and so that's for the most part. A lot of Wiccans, there's a crossover, because you can be a witch without being a Wiccan. You can be a witch and be of any religion for the most part. It's a little hard to be like a full Catholic witch.
I know, right?
For obvious reasons, but you can. I don't find it a disrespectful term. Obviously, like I love calling witches in my books. To me, it means for the most part, it can be as inclusive as you want, but it's someone typically in control of what one might consider feminine power, who has the ability to alter the shape of their life or help other people alter the shape of theirs. So I don't find it a pejorative word. It's been so in the past. But I think, yeah, exactly. So it's female healer, medicine woman. There are so many different terms for it. I like witch. I like how it sounds. I like that it's a little bit subversive. So that is my favorite term for it. And no, it doesn't make me mad.
What's the difference between, we're going to see your books in a minute, but this is so intriguing to me because I was just like, you know, when after I read Charms Way, I'm like, how does she know about all this? Like,
some of it I made up, you know, like.
Well, yeah, that too, but it's just like, well, everything on her stuff is about witches. Like, how does she know you love Hocus Pocus too? Okay,
I do. I also like Hocus Pocus. Yeah, this is all the required reading and viewing. Everything I've seen in the comments is all basically what I've been seeing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, girls' night out with a medicinal element. More like girls' night in with a medicinal element. But to be fair, it does get a little rowdy sometimes. So fair enough. It is kind of like a girls' night out.
It's a tell-all lot of, right. We try to get all of the tea. So, okay, what's the difference between a witch and a Wiccan?
The difference is that Wiccans are usually following. So Wicca, as I understand it, this is not objective in any way. This is my understanding. Wicca is a religion. So Wicca, they believe in usually the goddess and or the god. The goddess is typically, the female deity is usually superior. She's the one that they pray to primarily. Her counterpart is the god. She's usually associated with the moon. He's associated with the sun. There's an entire cycle of how their relationship plays out. That
sounds erotic.
Yeah, I know. I was like, doesn't it feel right? Yeah. Once you hear about it, you're like, absolutely. Yes. Like, he's in charge. He's kind of there. And so there's the Wheel of the Year holidays. Some of them, Halloween is one of the obvious ones. Yule is Christmas. There's Beltane, which is May Day. So it's midsummer. There's a bunch of other ones. Usually they either celebrate equinoxes, solstices, points in between those things. They're timed to celebrate harvest, just sort of the earth cycles and the way that people have coexisted with nature. And most of this stuff, like a lot of Wiccans, I think, at this point, acknowledge that Wicca hasn't been around for that long. The traditions are older, but Wicca itself under that name, I think, has maybe like a 75, 80 year, and I'm very roughly speaking here. I'm just thinking of like the British occultists who kind of gave it that name. But to be a Wiccan, you're following those religious beliefs. You can be a witch and follow almost any other religion. You're just maybe using craft, like you're like, if I'm burning a red candle at this specific time of night or this specific weekday, I'm trying to achieve a certain goal because these colors have affinities. Like, does that kind of make sense? Like this plant means something, and if I put all of these things together like a recipe and then also put my focus and will into it, I'm achieving it. So it's a craft, like needlework. You can crochet or knit or do whatever and be whatever religion you want. So you can be a witch and be any religion that you want. It just means that you have a specific craft that you're practicing.
I like that. It's almost kind of like what they would say, not like a superstition kind of, but almost like, I know for us, for the Black people, honey, on New Year's Eve, man, I'm from the South, so it might, it's like the first person walking through the door had to be a man. My grandma used to be like, ain't no janky woman gonna be the first one walking through my door on the first one. We had to have collard greens and black eyed peas. I think black eyed peas was for like for prosperity. I forgot what black eyed peas was for. But it was just like that was that, like certain things you just couldn't do. You can't split the pole. You couldn't, just
Yep, exactly. And those traditions come from somewhere. Like someone brought them from somewhere. Probably because at some point someone was like, wow, this seems to do something. I don't know why. Or maybe it's connected to a previous. I think a lot of witchcraft too and Wicca is drawn from other religions. Wicca specifically has a history of drawing from a lot of different places. It's not always a nice history in that sense, because a lot of Wicca was people cobbling things together from religions that didn't belong to them necessarily. They were like, oh, this seems to really work.
It's like, but that's life though. You
It
get so
is.
many life lessons. You take what seems to work for you and you apply it to your life. So
yeah.
that's pretty much.
But we have a lot of those also Serbian superstitions, and I follow a lot of them. I grew up with them, and it's like second nature to me now to know things. But it's interesting to see like some things that are good luck or bad luck in other cultures. It just isn't the same thing. Like black cats are good luck.
I was just
and our black cats, do you have any black cats?
No black cats.
No black cats. Okay.
No
Yeah.
black
I'm like, oh yes, a black cat. Excellent. I'd find some more. So.
Right. It's like you see a black cat and then it's not good. I'm like, oh my God. Pork, sauerkraut, and black-eyed peas. Yes. What was the black-eyed peas for? I can't remember. I remember
it probably meant something. They must have meant something at some point.
Something at some point. I'm gonna have to find out. Now I'm gonna have to call my auntie now and be like, hey, why do we have black-eyed peas for something? And I knew the collard greens is for the money. Thanks, Lana, for sharing that with us. I've learned so much. Like, and here you talking about these Wiccans, honey. They got a lot of holidays. They like to party.
I do like to party. This is true. I have not yet known a Wiccan who didn't like to party generally. So it really is like girls' night out with medicinal elements was probably the best description. Except we don't, most Wiccans wouldn't like to exclude, everyone's invited, but really there is a strong emphasis on any kind of feminine.
I love it, honey. I'm gonna have to give me a couple of Wiccan friends, honey, and go to their
I bet you could. They're pretty loud on Instagram too. Like you could find some.
And I'm in Massachusetts. I can just probably go to
Salem and just go into a store and it's like witch-splaining. It's like the witch equivalent of mansplaining. You'll just go in somewhere and someone will be like, oh, I'm a warlock. What would you like to know about warlocking? And you'll feel like I didn't even ask. I just walked in here. I was just looking to buy a candle. Who are you, sir? Why is this happening to me? Which is an experience I've had in Salem many times, but it's fun.
I love burning candles too. It makes it changes the atmosphere depending on what scent you burn.
So if you like candles, there's an online store called Witchcraft, and it's wonderful because it's like Diet Witch or Witch Light. Like if you're being really lazy, you just get one of their candles. It comes complete with like a ritual that they suggest. They tell you everything that's in the candle. You could theoretically make one of these for yourself and it would be stronger. I love their candles. I have ones. Oh, here. Yeah. So I've obviously burned this one a bunch. There used to be like tons of little stones and cool stuff in there. So they'll do that and they have beautiful containers. So I really, really enjoy them. And there's lots of, I think Etsy is a great one too, because you have so many practitioners who are dipping their own candles, doing like all of the, and I've watched them do it. So I'm like, I know that they're for real. If you find a good one, they will usually have used a lot of very thoughtful herbs and really kind of thought about it while they were making it. So it's nice. You're paying someone for something they put a lot of effort into.
I absolutely love that. I'm telling you, I love that too. Because a long time ago, my grandmother used to tell me, she's like, yeah, you could change the atmosphere, the certain smells in the house, or certain different flowers and how they're positioned.
Yes.
And, before I even became a member of Delta Sigma Theta, my grandmother and my aunts, they love elephants. So you have to have the trunk pointed a certain way because how was this like? You couldn't get trunk had to be up, trunk can't be down.
These things affect, I don't know, it's interesting to think why would they, but sometimes it's like baking, right? Or anything like that, where you have certain elements and they have to go a certain way, or otherwise like your souffle is not going to rise or something's going to go wrong. So the elephant's trunk has to point a certain way.
And ain't nothing wrong with it. It brightens your day. It's whatever you believe in to make it. Just like playing gospel music. It's a certain feeling you get just by hearing certain stuff. I am with it. This is perfect. Rom-com diva, what you say? Black-eyed peas represents fortune, symbolizes coins. So eat them for prosperity in the end. And in the end, come okay.
This is good to know. I almost want to take a note for myself, but I'll look up black-eyed peas again. This is that makes perfect sense.
I gotta do that. Oh yeah, Renata, you can't do laundry on New Year's Day.
Oh, I wonder why. We could probably come up with a reason for that one. Maybe you don't want to wash out any upcoming good luck or intentions or something.
I like that.
You don't want to wash something out. You're obviously wanting to keep something, but I don't know
Lana, you need to come up with your own book of rituals. I'm telling you.
So that's what these books are. I'm just inventing stuff that I
right. And it'd be like 1 through like 30 though. Have like 100 pages of 100 different things. Like That would be hot.
Most people will do that. So those are the Book of Shadows that you hear about. And usually in shows, they're like leather bound and scary.
Like Charm.
Exactly like that. So
I love
most
Charm.
witches or Wiccans or crossovers will have their books of shadows. Favorite smells. Oh, Mackenzie asked favorite smells. Oh my gosh. This is the mark of someone who knows that I'm a smell obsessive person. I think in a different life, I would be the nose behind a perfume house or something. I love smells so much.
They get paid a lot of money, Lana.
You know, I clearly took a bad path because I could have been doing that. So sandalwood is my straight up favorite smell, and it's wonderful. My favorite perfumes are all sandalwood based. I also like ambers. I like musks. Bergamot is a really big one. And then I like, in certain quantities, I like the smell of sage. And then for flowers, honeysuckle, peonies are good ones, but sandalwood just like wipes the floor with all the other ones.
Man, sandalwood smells good. And I love sandalwood. I love musk, but I love it in men cologne. Oh my God.
Lady perfume, or you can even just go unisex. Most of my perfumes are unisex, so I guess they're colognes. I'm not even sure with fragrances. They're just fragrances.
This is perfect. Girl, okay, let me get to this book, honey, because I could talk to you forever just about stuff. Like, this is so cool.
The book, that's all right. We can just chat about, we don't have to, I mean, we can talk about the book if you want.
Just a little bit, I'm giving a little bit, because I got other questions for you too. Okay, cool. So before we get into your book, because I want you to tell me about the Lady Slayers series as well. We're going to get into a bunch of different series.
Sure.
Tell me, how long did it take you to write? How long does it normally take you to write a book, period?
It depends on the book. So these books, because we were in such a tight schedule, these books, each of them I wrote in 6 months, which is a quick turnaround for me. I've had much longer turnarounds. So the first book, the Wicca Like a Wildfire, that took me a year to write. And then Fierce Like a Firestorm was also, I would say, 6 to 9 months.
Right.
Books that are, I would say the Thistle Grove books are a little bit softer that way. So I got better at plotting stuff in advance. And so I wouldn't have to go back and do as many rounds of edits. And so writing was faster.
So you're a plotter, not a pantser?
I used to be such a pantser. I didn't even conceive, I was like, how could you possibly know what's going to happen? And then I did a bunch of freelance writing. So I was working for one of those choose your own adventure games that you can do in your phone choices, if you've ever seen one of those.
I have.
So I did that, and because they would give me an outline, it was so helpful in being like, oh, this is the way that a book is constructed. Like you have Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Here are the beats that you have to hit. And the Lady Slayers books were also what we call IP, so they were work for hire. So I had an outline to work with for both of them, one more elaborate, one less so. And just doing that, I think, taught me a lot about the way to pace your book and how valuable it is to know what's going to happen, so you're not sitting there paralyzed in fear of, this is a totally blank page. I have no idea what's coming next. So now I always have, it's a rough outline, maybe like a 1 page, maybe 2 page.
Right.
And it changes as I'm writing, but I think I'm closer to a plotter than a pantser now. So you can change. Like you can, yeah.
So we'll call you hybrid.
I am a hybrid, I would say, because I do pants a lot. Like once I get going, I'm like, oh no, this is not going to work anymore.
See, right, exactly.
It's now, not calling to me this way.
Right. How long did it take you to get published?
Depends on when you count it from. So the first book that I wrote in law school, and I wrote it mostly to make a point to my mom, because I was in law school and I hated it and I wanted to drop out. And she was like, well, what are you going to do if you do that? And I was like, oh, I'm going to go into publishing. I want to be a writer. And she was like, okay, well, then maybe you should write a book, which is reasonable.
Mom, they're so smart, aren't they?
I'm going to do it. So I wrote a book instead of doing a lot of other things like studying for the bar exam and all of that good stuff. And that one I wrote, so when did I graduate? It would have been, I wrote that book in maybe 2008 or 2009. So counting from that, it took me until that book sold, that book never sold, but the one I wrote afterwards, once I became an agent, that one sold in 2014 and then was published in 2017. So basically, if you're really thinking about it, I guess there was a solid 6 to 7 years between the first book that I wrote And the first time I got published, and it wasn't even the same book. It was a different.
Oh wait, it sold in 2014, but it didn't get published until 2017.
Yeah, that is so. It sold, I think, late 2014. It might even have been early 2015. Now that I think about it, typically 2 years for your debut is totally normal between acquisition. Yeah, you have like a 2 year. It might have shortened in the meantime, but I don't think so for especially for your first book. The amount of editing, copy editing, the entire acquisitions process, it takes so much longer than you would think. But 2 years is I think, pretty standard for the space between the time that you sell your first book and when it actually hits the market, which is wild. You're like, hasn't the world moved on? Like,
yeah, you would think, right? No,
you've already written another book, like maybe sold more books. Yeah, it's publishing is slow. Like it's just slow in a way that you don't understand until you've done it.
Oh my God, absolutely love it. What are they saying over here in this old chat, honey? Let me see here. Romcon said, Lana, you can still be your nose because you can smell your book cover and ask readers to try to guess what it is. That would be fun.
I should do this, but some people hate talking about smells. I read a couple of reviews of my books back when I still used to read reviews, and some of them were like, you know what, I would have loved this book, except this chick just won't shut up about smells. And I find smells disgusting. And I was like, what do you mean you find smells disgusting? How do you exist as a human in the world? It's like you just walk around repulsed.
Because their house stank. That's all that is.
Like, oh no. So yeah, some people do not like being told what things smell like. And I don't care because I'll still talk about it because I think it's fun and I like it in books. But yeah, it's interesting the way that people wildly vary in how much they don't like talking about perfume or any kind of smell.
People are weird. Mackenzie said her book is so inclusive that way. Yes, they
are. Thank you. Mackenzie is so supportive. Thank you, Mackenzie.
Love it. Brittany Jackson said, I was told during laundry on New Year's Day we'll watch a loved family member from your life. And even today, I don't watch on New Year's Day and I don't split poles.
This is really good to know. This is such valuable information. I probably wouldn't, mostly because I'm lazy, not because I had no idea. It would not have occurred to me to wash on New Year's Day just because I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm making food or getting ready to go do something fun, so I wouldn't do it anyway. But now I know there's a good reason. I intuited not to.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Romcon Diva said they are stuck up with
It's true. Sorry about it. It's fun. Yeah, some smells are terrible, but smells. I mean, anyone who smelled sandalwood, I feel like can't be like, this is worth it.
Yeah, sandalwood is good. I'm telling you. Ooh, and that was Egyptian musk oil.
Oh, those things together. Once I sat in an Uber and the driver was this beautiful woman and she just turned around and she was like, are you wearing a sandalwood perfume? And I was like, yes, I am. And she was like, my father used to wear those. But she said this in this very flirtatious way. And I was like, I don't know where to go from here. Like, thank you. I'm really glad that I smell like your dad to you. Thought this was going in a different direction. Perhaps not.
Yeah, it's so Lana.
Thanks. Yeah, me and your dad. We know what's up with the fragrances.
I absolutely love it. So, Lana, all right. Let's tell us a little bit about the series, the Lady Slayer series.
The Lady Slayers. So those were the bloodiest books I ever wrote. The first one was Blood Countess. That was really fun. So
Elizabeth, the cover though, I might get the cover in blood. What is going on?
Blood, mostly just castles and blood. So Elizabeth Bathory is one of my other, aside from witches, she was one of my other fascinations. My family moved around a lot when I was growing up. So we lived all over Eastern Europe, and a lot of the countries in Eastern Europe will claim this woman, even though her claim to fame is that she is probably the most prolific female serial killer in history. And she lived in the 17 to 1800s and killed hundreds of other women in these very barbaric ways. Yeah, so she was a countess, and she just tortured people. And she was at the same time the closest that you could come to a feminist in that period of time. So she spoke a lot of languages. She did a lot of charity work. She had this whole school for uplifting other young female nobility. And in the meantime, she was just offing mostly women. I think she killed some men, But it was bizarre. She had this just absolute fixation on killing people, mostly women. And so it was interesting I think the reason people were fascinated by her was because of the contradiction of how can you be these two things? And also women in that historical era typically were not the ones doing the killing. So I had already learned a lot about her and her sort of partner in crime, who is the first person, that the main character of the book is Anna Darvulia, who, of course, in my version is a witch because someone had to be, and that made the most sense. And this whole story is, how did this person wind up this way? Why did she feel the urge to horribly commit these completely depraved acts? Why are people so fascinated with her? Is there a reason that she's not as well known as her male counterparts? Because I think a lot of people know about the inspiration behind Dracula. Plenty of people know about male serial killers. And I don't think Elizabeth Bathory is nearly as well known. I wasn't able to find a lot of TV or other media about her.
Right.
So when I got tapped to write that book, I was like, yes, absolutely. Wealth of terrible, weird knowledge. You can't really call yourself a fangirl of Elizabeth Bathory, but I definitely knew more about her just because of having been in all of those classes where I learned about her over and over. And then the second one was about Catherine de Voisin, who was the leader of a fortune-telling, con artist ring in Renaissance France. So she was essentially doing black magic at the Sun King's court. And I had never heard of her either. Who was this person? Why was she never in any shows? And she had an interesting, also feminist history of performing abortions, sometimes getting women out of all kinds of trouble. So she had just a very interesting background that I had never heard explored anywhere. I stumbled across her and was also curious, what was her story? What might this have been like? I loved writing those books. They were both written using an outline that somebody else came up with for me. So in one case, it was an editor. In another case, it was a freelance writer hired by the editor. I did all of the character work, everything else that went into writing it. But it was interesting covering these women that historically are fascinating, but generally, if you ask someone about them, no one's gonna know about.
I did.
No, neither did I really.
I didn't, because I'm okay. The latest slayers. Let me see. So I'm looking at. I'm like, are these people real? And if they are, what the hell?
They're both real. And why is there not a show about what they were doing? I think it's because
a movie or something.
And they do appear. There are bits and pieces of their lives. If you really track them down, you'll see especially Elizabeth Bathory, I think is better known. But you have to kind of dig to get there. And part of it is it's gruesome. And I think the world has a very difficult time thinking of women as, murderous. For any reason, most of the more famous female murderers in history tend to be poisoners. That's kind of the way that these ladies are stealth, and they're not trying to call too much attention to what they're doing when they're doing really, really wrong stuff. So it's interesting to see these women who were generally much more kind of in your face about it. Not that I condone any of what they did, but it was interesting to think about, okay, what position, especially in those historical eras, would have put them into such a dire straits that they needed to do this? Or was it just that they were bad people? Was there a balance between those things? And the interesting thing for a writer, because, especially if you're writing from that perspective, how do you make that person at all relatable for someone who's reading that book? If you're just I love killing babies, I love killing everyone, most of the time you're not going to get any sort of, you have to make them a little bit accessible. So it was almost, I had never done anything like that before. And so it was just an interesting challenge that I haven't had to do since.
Oh my God, yeah, honey. Because I was like, if she making this up, what the hell is wrong with Lana? How can she?
Can you imagine? Yeah, how does anyone sleep next to me at night, thinking that I have this brain in my head? Isn't it terrible?
Yeah, it's she's writing about witches and killers. I love it.
My dad sometimes will ask me, he's just like, why do you think about these things? And I'm like, well, you made surely you would have some idea. I don't know. I can't tell you.
He's probably like, I'm not sleeping with her tonight.
Exactly. He's like, ugh. She can have the guest room somewhere on the furthest floor of the house. Nowhere near, please.
I absolutely love it. Let's talk about your latest release.
Yes.
In Charm's Way. In Charm's Way. Tell us about In Charm's Way.
Sure. So In Charm's Way is, I have to count it out in my head. It's the 4th book in the Thistle Grove series.
Yes. And we're going to talk about the name too, Thistle. I was like, why should I pronounce this?
See, but now that we've got it, it kind of rolls off the tongue better.
It actually do, and I like it now. It's kind of like the word moist. Now I like Thistle.
You really kind of have to work up to it. So this is the 4th book. Thistle Grove is set in a magical or an enchanted town in Illinois. And it's in Illinois because I feel like all of the other magical towns they're always in Massachusetts because everything is always Salem based.
It's magical here though. I'm just saying.
But I thought it would be fun. So I was living in Illinois when I was writing it, and I thought it would be fun to set it in the Midwest and have a completely different kind of vibe to it. So this one, the main character so each of the books is voiced by a member of one of the 4 magical families, who are the Harlows, the Blackmores, the Avramovs, and the Thorns. And this is the 2nd book to feature a Harlow. The first one, Payback's a Witch, was Emmy Harlow, who was coming back to town very reluctantly from Chicago to judge a magical competition. So it was a spellcasting competition between the families. In this one, Delilah Harlow, who is very curmudgeonly. She's the owner of the independent and occult bookstore, Tomes and Omens, that belongs to the family. She just wants to be left alone, but she's suffering from the after effects of a spell that shattered her memory in the previous book. And so in this book, she's resorting to forbidden blood magic to try to piece, her personality and her mind together because she hates relying on people so much. And what winds up happening is that she makes herself into this beacon for supernatural creatures. And now she's like, oh no, I've traded one problem for another. What am I going to do? So she crosses paths with a very morally ambiguous, sexy, half-fae monster hunter from Chicago. So I finally got to write another kind of sapphic romance of my dreams. I love morally ambiguous characters, and I especially like it when they're ladies. So the 2 of them together have to figure out what happened to Delilah, how to undo it, what are Kat is the love interest, what are her kind of ulterior motives, and what is Delilah's emotional journey that she'll have to reckon with to come to the other side of this.
I absolutely love it. I'm like, this is so cool. I was excited to talk to you. I'm just like, honey, and now I'm even more intrigued with your whole life. I'm gonna be calling you later on, like, girl, look, when I'm in the conversation,
which is black.
Because I'm like, oh my God, Lana, on top of you being beautiful, you're just so smart, and just how you
too. Thank you. Is this going to be a mutual compliment session, or are we just going to devolve into be like, you're so pretty? No, you're so pretty.
No, you're so pretty. That's how you. But thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. But you know who you remind me of, though? Have you ever watched The Good Witch with Cassie Nightingale? Well, Cassie Nightingale was the person.
I will look this up. No, I have not seen this. It has witch in the title, so how have I not seen it already?
I don't know how you missed this. I'm telling you, look up The Good Witch. I absolutely love The Good Witch. And it's like
as soon as we're done, I'm gonna look it up. It's gonna be the next thing I do.
And you look like Cassie Nightingale. I'm telling you, she's beautiful. She used to be on what was her? I forgot her real name, but she used to be on Jag, I think, or something like that. But you look just like, I'm telling you, like her. She's beautiful.
Thank you. I will take it. Thank you very much. People will tell me all sorts of things about who I look like. I've heard all manner of things. I'm always like, I don't think I look like that person, but sure, I will take it every time. It makes me.
Unless they ugly and can't smell. Other than that. Other than that,
welcome.
So In Charm's Way, this is the 4th book in the Thistle Grove series. Okay, I see you got a couple books on the way now, a couple pre-orders, a couple one-clicks. How many more books can we look forward to in this series?
So there will definitely be one more. That's for sure. There's an excerpt of the next one, which is Rise and Divine. And I'm hopefully going to get to share the cover soon. I'm super excited about the cover. It's beautiful, and I think it works with the others, but it's also a little bit different looking than the others have been. So that's going to be very exciting. That's definitely going to be That's on the way for sure. After that one, I'm not 100% positive if we'll see more Thistle Grove books or something else. There's a couple projects that I'm hoping will happen, but they're both so tentative that there's nothing I can say about them. I don't know which one of them is going to happen, if either of them. So yes, definitely a fifth one, and then hopefully something more.
We're going to be on the lookout for that fifth book, honey. I'm telling you. Well, this is what I'm here in the chat. Yes, Rom-Com Diva said beauty and brains. Girl power. Yes, she is. When I love The Good Witch. The Good Witch was so good.
Lana, I need to remind myself to look at this.
She was on Jag. Okay, she was on Jag, the lady. What's her real name?
Here, you know what? We're just going to find out right now.
Yes, and she was on the Hallmark Channel. I loved her. Mackenzie said, take the compliment, girl. Okay, Mackenzie, girl, get her together.
Oh, I know who that is. Sue Ellen Brock. You know what? I understand. I will take this. Yes, thank you. This is a great compliment. Thank you so much. The Enchantress of Middleton. This is so good. I'm going to have to look her up more. This is a very good compliment. Now that I'm seeing her actual face. Wonderful. Thank you so much. What a wonderful.
Yes, and I'm telling you, Renata, I love Noah Cap, who plays the sheriff. He does Carnival Eats on cookies. Yes. Oh. Once you see it started out as just movies. Mm-hmm. And then it went to series. You know how they have like those 2 hours movies here and there, and then they go, Catherine Bell is the girl. Catherine Bell.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah, that's the name. Yeah, Catherine Bell. I'm telling you, Yeah. You got to see it.
The best compliment I got was, completely unexpected, and this was so specific that I had to go look this person up because I also couldn't remember. I did a book event, and someone from the audience came up for a signing, and she said, I just never understood the appeal of that golfer chick from The Great Gatsby with Leo DiCaprio, but you really remind me of her. And now that I've seen you in person, I totally get it. And I was like, the golfer chick from The Great Gatsby. And I had to go digging for who she meant. And I finally figured it out. And I was like, oh, it's just it's like the fact that I have an unnaturally long neck. Especially at events, it'll just like rise. People. And I think people think I do it on purpose, but I don't. It's just that's where my head sits. And I was like, we don't have very much in common. We're both blonde, and my neck is also, we both, but I'll take it. She's awesome. So that was my last.
She is awesome. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Lana, author's moment. Yeah. What's your most urgent priority for the rest of the year, both in the literary world and in your personal life?
Ooh, this is such a good question. I'll be totally real with you on the personal life. I really, 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 really need to get my divorce finalized. This is an urgent priority. It's not within my control, but I want it really bad. So this, just because we're being super real, we were behaving up until now, but now we're not. So that's my personal one. And then the other one, I really would like to have my next project completely decided upon so that I can finally, I hate living in any kind of transitional limbo state. I don't like it. I don't do well when there's ambiguity and I'm not sure what's happening. So I want to be sure that I know what I'm doing next when it comes to writing.
Well, girl, I'm gonna light a candle, honey, and touch and agree with you and put it in there.
Thank you.
I'm gonna send you my personal email. You let me know which candle we're gonna light together.
Thank you. Yes, please. It works from a distance too. You don't even have to ever be in the same place. It doesn't even matter.
I'm telling. If it seems
like it doesn't work that way, yeah, you just have to know.
And if it seems like I need a little more power, I'll go to Salem for you real quick. Just drive through.
Thank you. And if you ever need, likewise, I'm just on the other side. We're gonna have to exchange all the information. So in case we have to do tandem candle lightings in the future, yes, you at the drop of a text.
Girl, light a candle.
Red candle right now, 10:07.
Right. I absolutely love it. Author's moments in being a novelist. What did you learn a little too late?
A little too late. Probably, well, actually, have I even learned it? To stop pinning my self-worth on how much I'm producing or what the publishing world is giving me back. Because it's really easy to get caught up in the idea of you're only worth as much as how many of your books are selling. Are you hitting the list? Are you getting these external goals that typically you have nothing, they're not in your control at all. So I think the thing that I'm trying to learn is to only attempt to control the thing that I can, which is just to try to force myself to keep writing, even when I am feeling like I'm not succeeding in the way that I want to be. So probably still learning this. I don't know if is it too late, but I am attempting to do it. I think I guess the way to encapsulate it is I thought more of it would be under my control than is the case, and very little of it is under a writer's control.
I absolutely love it. Missy said, oh my God, now her divorce.
Yes, Mitzi, my divorce. Yes, I would really like for that. If you have a time, Mitzi, to just think about my divorce being over and I would really like that to be done.
Girl, we're gonna make it happen for you. We're gonna make it happen for you. Author's moments. If you could have tea with one fictional character of yours, who would it be?
Oh, with mine. Yeah. Okay. I was going to say, because I always have in mind, I know who it is if it's someone else's. With mine, I've always been in love with Talia from book number 1. Okay. And it's Talia Avramov. She's the love interest in book number 1. It would either be her or it would be the Dread Lady Avramov, who is the founding ancestor of the Avramov family and who's distantly related to Baba Yaga, who is the sort of Slavic Russian witch hag crone, who is allegedly, the ancestor of that family. I love all of her stories. She's like the creepiest witch, but sometimes she does really cool stuff. And you're like, why were you cool that time and not the other times? So it would be Talia for my own books. And then if I got to pick somebody else from someone else's books, my favorite series ever is Jacqueline Carey's Kushiel's Saga series. Oh. Wow. And it would be Phaedra Delaunay from those. Phaedra Delaunay, Montrev. I always say her name wrong, but she's like a bisexual courtesan who also is involved in all kinds of political schemings. They're fantastic books. They got such a cult following now, but I don't know how they even got written in the 90s because there still isn't that many books like them now. And I love them so much. And she will always be my favorite character.
I absolutely love that. All right. Author's moments, Lana. If you could sit down with your 15-year-old self, what would you tell her?
I would say don't throw away those lace-up jeans so soon, because lace-up jeans had a very brief moment. You really loved those jeans and you will never have that moment back. So give yourself an extra 6 months with those lace-up jeans. But if I was serious, I think I would say just don't put so much pressure on yourself. Like, it's all going to happen. Don't try to rush through everything all the time. Because it always felt growing up like I was trying to get to the next spot faster than it was going to happen. So it's going to be fine. Don't cry about things being hard right now. This is every phase in life. You're going to think back and be like, wow, that was so fun. Wow, I wish I could go back to that. So just sit in it a little bit more and don't be in such a hurry to get to the next place.
I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Let's see. Okay, they touching and agreeing with us in the chat. Kim Jones said it is done, honey. It is done.
What is done? The lace-up jeans or the...
No, it's talking about the divorce. They're talking about divorce.
Getting the girl over. Yeah. What is a reverse dance? I guess it's an exorcism, I think. Probably. Which honestly, both things very apt. I will take either. Give me your exorcism or reverse dance vibes. I will take all of them. I
absolutely love it. I've had so much fun tonight. This has brought us to the end of our interview. We have one question left.
Yes.
But Lana, you're gonna have to come back.
I would love to, please, anytime. I would love to.
Yeah, you're gonna have to come back. Oh, the reverse one is hell. Okay.
The reverse one is hell. Got it. Still going for it. Yeah. Not gonna object to it.
Nothing objective. And when you come back next time, I think I was well behaved this time, ladies and gentlemen. Next time is on and popping.
Absolutely. And you know that I'll be here for that as well. I was already trying to get it started this time, but then people want to keep us in check. So that's fine. That's all right. It's the first time.
She felt it in her spirit that we was going to be out the chain. Let's go ahead the first time. And then, she bring order the first go around, because I be tripping. Some people don't want to come back. They be like, no, we're not coming back, Shay. Come on.
Foolishness. No, I feel this was so much fun. Thank you so much for having me. This was wonderful. I'm sorry for I lost my voice like a week ago and it's been gradually coming back. So hopefully everyone could hear me properly.
Oh, you were great. It was like you were talking too much to the divorce attorney. It was like, this is what I need. This
is for too long. It's not too much, as much as too long. Divorce, my bad. Anyway, thank you.
I agree. You were pretty. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. This was the absolute best host experience. Thank you so much. Next time I'm in Salem, please come with me. I will show you around to all my favorite places.
I'm gonna be there. Trust and believe that I'm gonna be there.
But they have a hot chocolate sampling house.
I heard that, and I'm a hot chocolate freak. I love hot chocolate.
Oh, it's so good, but you'll get so caffeinated. I wasn't prepared for this, where it's like I could feel all my bones at the end of it, because it is a strong. It's like drinking like a bunch of espressos. It's very, very strong. So that part you really have to kind of train for, I think, to like get ready for a tasting.
I'll put Baileys in.
You're good, but not me.
It'll be good. Lana, tell us all things Lana Harper, where we can go to get your latest novel in Charm's Way, where we can go get all your books and your social media handles.
Yeah, so I'm mostly on Instagram. That is my favorite place to hang out. So Instagram at Lanalyte, LANALYTE. And then for my website, you can see it down below, LanaPopovicBooks.com. In Charm's Way is anywhere the books are sold. I always enjoy indie sales the most, although of course you should do anything that is appropriate for you, and libraries are also fantastic. So bookshop.org will hook you up with local indies. If you have a local indie, that is fantastic. If you request at your local library, I love librarians. That will make me super happy. And if you want to go to Amazon, we all go there too. So all of those places will carry it. Fingers crossed. Pretty much anywhere that you want to go is great with me.
Sounds good. All right, Lana, last question for tonight. Mm-hmm. If you were writing a book about your life, what would the title be?
I just had this recently. I was thinking about this. It was, first of all, no. No. I believe it was, second of all, no. First of all, I'm sorry. Second of all, no. And I don't know why this was my particular title. I must have been feeling very salty about something. But generally, the vibe carries through. I think I tend to have a lot of opinions about why people have their opinions. So we're just going to stick with that one for the moment until I get a better working title.
You know what? I absolutely love it. You are my kind of girl. You're my kind of girl. Ladies in Brown Book Series, please give it up again for New York Times New York Times bestselling author, Miss Lana Harper.
Thank you, Shay. And thank you everyone so much for coming.
So listen, if you missed the interview tonight, if your friends missed the interview tonight, it's okay. They can hit the replay. Still, give them a link, tell them to go to brownbookseries.com or go to our YouTube channel, and they can replay and listen to Miss Lana Harper, honey. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it too, because there's some nuggets she was dropping. I gotta go look these other people up and just gotta go get my candles. So make sure you go and get all things Lana Harper. Follow her on all her social media outlets, and just go to the Amazon. Anything that has her name on it, just pick it up, okay? Don't pick it up once, just buy two of them. How about that? Join me next week when Lexi Blake will be in the building. That's right, New York Times USA Today's bestseller author Lexi. It's the Thistle and the Lexi Blake will be in the building. Y'all know what's up. Stay positive. Most of all, stay safe. Bye.
Open up your brown book, baby. It's for you. It's for us. The fantasy. No one can judge us. No one can judge us. This is for us. Open up your brown book, baby.